Hey, how's it going? How's everybody doing? So I just watched, I guess it was 2 nights ago now, Guillermo, Guillermo del Toro. I always have trouble saying his name. His new version of Frankenstein. And there might be a few spoilers in this video. It's just a quick video. Um, I'm just kind of doing it off the cuff and a little bit spontaneous. I wasn't even planning on doing a video today. But I was just sitting around and I kind of thought about it and I was like, why not? I'll talk about it. So I didn't do any research or script anything, write anything down, which a lot of times is the case, and a lot of times it isn't, depending on how in depth I want to go with the video and how spontaneous the video is. So this one is pretty spontaneous. I did grab a couple Frankensteins I was going to put in the background, but I'm just sitting at the table, so everything's far away. But here's a couple Frankenstein, not the Guillermo del Toro version, but the Universal Monsters version. This one here. This is a big one. But yeah, with Jack Pierce's design. Sorry, I had to stall for time while I was remembering Jack Pierce's name. I was just yeah, Jack Pierce. That's his name. Popped into my head. Okay, thank you. I don't feel like such a moron. So anyway, if you want to subscribe, like, comment, help me get up to 1,000 subs, that would be outstanding. Just get that little bit of self promotion out of the way. Um, but yeah, what did I think about it? I really liked it. I thought it was really well done. There were some things about it I didn't really like, and that were a little bit like I didn't get it. I thought Oscar Isaac's portrayal of Victor was really well done. I can't remember. Like I said, I didn't really do a lot of research on, so I don't remember the names of the other actors in the film, but I think everybody was really spot on with the roles they were playing. The makeup, the effects. It's Guillermo del Toro again. I can think his name fluently, but just when it goes from here to here, it just turns into gibberish. But so I apologize for that. But yeah, the visuals are good when he's making his films. He does really great with monsters and creatures. I actually did a couple years ago. I think it was about 8 years ago now at this point, and I just got a pop up on Facebook about it in memories that I went to his exhibit in Toronto at the Art Gallery of Ontario, I think it was, and had a lot of the things he had created, a lot of his creations, a lot of his art, and a lot of things from his collection. He had a lot of Frankenstein stuff too, which was great because I have a lot of Frankenstein stuff, just not big giant ones that I can store in a huge mansion. It's on a shelf in my home here, but yeah, his creature effects are always great. His designs are incredible, and he took the it went from what we're used to seeing to something entirely different, something entirely new, and it looked good. I was really impressed by it. It was a bit of a combination of Frankenstein and Bride of Frankenstein kind of meshed in together. Like I said, there's gonna be a little bit of spoilers, but with the exception of what I'm going to say about the ending of the film, not really anything that's going to give away a whole lot. But if you've seen the original film, which runtime is only about an hour and 15 minutes, this movie was, I think it was about 2.5 hours roughly, so twice the runtime. But there's also a lot more to take in, a lot more going on in this movie. Um, you get a lot more understanding of the monster and the torment. Victor was portrayed not as a good man, but being very impatient and just always like, what's wrong with you? Why aren't you learning? And very verbally abusive and physically abusive too, but a lot of verbal abuse in it. Now, I haven't read the Mary Shelley novel. I do have it, but I think I started reading it a while ago, and I think I started it and just sort of forgot about it. So I don't know how close or how far it is from the original source material, but I do now. It actually did help me entice me to read the novel, and actually make the comparison myself, and also see how the original film, or well, the Universal film. It's not actually the first. It's not the first Frankenstein film. Actually, the first one was done by, I think it was Edison Films that did it, of like a 20-minute short silent film from like 19, I don't know, 1910ish, around that area, um, which I watched a long time ago. But yeah, I did really like it. I do recommend seeing it. It's probably not one. If I watch it again, it won't be for a while because it is a little bit slow. Like Nosferatu, I saw back in November, and I did really like that too. And I did a review on that as well. If you want to check it out, but I probably won't watch that again anytime soon. Like I will eventually watch it again. I'm just not in a rush to see it. And again with this film, but like the visuals were striking, were stunning, striking, stunning. They were good, and it was done in two parts. And the first part is Victor telling his version of the story, leads up to spoiler alert, when he blows up the castle and to kill the monster. And then the second half of the film is the creature's perspective and his story. Um, and it gets into a lot of the stuff you see from Bride of Frankenstein, the blind man and stuff. And he's in the forest, they're chasing him, and people are chasing him, hunting him down because they don't know what he is. Uh, just a really good take, and all those scenes are phenomenal. Couple things. CGI animals always look a little wonky and unnatural. So there are some scenes with the wolves. There's some scenes with rats too, but the rats look fine. They're just scurrying around for the most part. So, but the wolves are attacking livestock in this, and it always just looks choppy. But I do understand it's easier probably to CG the animals rather than bring in a trainer, have to how many takes you have to do to get the animal to get the shot right, to be in the right position. And the animals are seen killing livestock, so killing other animals, you have to be able to do that without the wolves actually killing the sheep. So there, I do get why CGI is used instead. It's just, and it's common practice now. But that part was a little wonky. What I did like too is in the beginning of the movie, you don't see the monster's face, but he is a monster and he's terrifying, and for the most part, he's pretty indestructible. And you don't really get to see what he looks like from when it's Victor's story in the beginning of the movie. But then when you see him a little bit later in the film, you see his face. He's actually got a very sympathetic, a very kind, passive kind of face, where he doesn't look like this monster. Well, excuse me. And you do start to get a sense of empathy for the creature. And so there's that. Now, I'm not going to go into too much detail. Plus, I've watched a couple movies since then. So if I don't do a review right away on a movie I've only seen once, and I don't double check and research, like I said, I'm just doing this very spontaneously. I tend to forget the movie like parts, because once I start watching other movies, that other movie just sort of disappears a little bit. It kind of fades. But one thing that I didn't understand, now this goes towards the end of the movie. In the beginning of the movie and the end of the movie take place sort of side by side. The rest of the movie is filler of, like, well, it's not filler, but they're telling the story. So there's not, I don't know how much time it would have actually told them to tell the story if it was in real time, but it starts off, the monster wants to kill him. He's doing all these things. He's killing all the sailors and everything else, all that stuff. It's a very violent, angry mentality the creature has. And then at the end of the movie, he tells his version of story, and then suddenly he's very passive, and he calls Victor father, and then he leaves. Like, and I was like, okay, if you take out, like, okay, you told all this story and you're saying all these dickish things he did, and just a little while ago you wanted to kill him, or you wanted him, and I don't know if you just wanted, because he wanted a bride too. You wanted he wanted Victor to make a female version, and Victor refused. Now that comes up in this when they're telling the stories, but it's like you're angry with all this rage, and then you tell your story. You'd think you'd be even angrier, but yet then you're suddenly peaceful. Now, maybe I'm just not reading it right, or maybe because I haven't read the actual novel. So, and again, I'm not knocking the whole movie. I was just a little confused by that. Like, why is he suddenly calm and sympathetic? And it's like, but I don't know. Maybe if you've seen the film, I know a lot of people have seen the film. It's doing really well. It's rated really high. Um, Tell me why. Tell me what I missed in the film in the comments, because I am curious, and I'm not knocking the film. I've said that a bunch of times already in this quick video, but I'm just curious why it was just that change of mentality, that change of attitude. Like even in the Universal films, at the end of Bride of Frankenstein, the monster's not happy. He actually pulls a lever that destroys the castle to kill everyone. So I I don't know that, but like I don't know why that change was made in his mentality or his thought process at the end. But again, a really good movie. Visuals were very well done. And I do like how they combined Frankenstein with Bride of Frankenstein into the same movie. I mean, without him trying to make a bride for the monster, just a lot of the scenes, all the stuff with the blind old man, I really liked. It was very reminiscent of the Universal film, not in the exact same way, but a lot of similarities. And the character was very. You really liked the old man character, just like in the original version. He was just a very likable character, and you really felt that the monster finally made a friend. And then what happens after was a little bit heartbreaking, even though it wasn't the monster's fault. It was protecting him from wolves, and there was a misunderstanding, and he kind of went on his way. And that's also where you learn pretty much how indestructible he is, because he gets shot and they leave him, and he comes back to life a little bit short time later. But like I said, there are spoilers in this video. But I just want to know other people's opinion, what you thought of it, and my also Oscar Isaac, again, like I said, he was amazing in this film, but I really only know him from two movies. Well, two sets of films, I guess, this film and obviously from Star Wars. And even though I'm not a big fan of the Skywalker trilogy, I'm a fan of the original trilogy, but and even the prequels. But the new trilogy, it's very convoluted, and but his scenes were all well done. So hats off to him for, like, he's just an incredible actor. But in what I've seen, which is only two things, so that's the other question I was going to ask. If you have any recommendations of films he's in, drop them in the comments below, because I really want to see more movies. I could also look it up, but I want personal recommendations just from people that have seen some films and something that meant a lot to you or something you really enjoyed. I want to check those movies out, not just what I'm reading on IMDb or Rotten Tomatoes saying, oh, this is a good one, that's a good one. Now I want to hear it from an actual person. That would be really great. Anyway, if you watched this all the way through, it ran a little bit longer than I thought. I was expecting like a 6 or 7 minute video, and my pizza's almost ready, my Tuesday night pizza. So anyway, yeah, if you want to like, subscribe, comment, do all that wonderful YouTube fun stuff, that would be great. I'd really like that. And I guess until the next one, bye.